Okay, from George. Tenino Chamber, next meeting September 20th at noon. Clint Endicott, superintendent, is the speaker. Thurston EDC Real Estate Forum is September 28th at 11 a.m. at the Hotel on the Lake. Steady is this Friday, September 15th, 8 a.m., Rainier Pizza and Burgers. Arch Commission and Creative District will hold a metal art banner unveiling ceremony on Saturday, September 30th at 10 a.m. in front of the Town Hall, with a Meet the Artisans reception to follow in council chambers. Annette Roth with the Washington State Art Commission will attend. Mayor Fournier will speak about the project. Council members are invited to participate in the ceremony.
Let's see. South Thurston Fire.
No reports.
Library. This is Linda McKinney's report. They wrapped up their summer library program on August 31st. They had a good attendance for the events, and thanks everyone who came to participate. The number of people who participated in the summer library program this year were substantially higher. Our youngest age category, birth through second grade, went from 20 to 50, picking up their prize book, an increase of 150%. School-age kids, third through fifth grades, went from 23 to 6, a decrease of 73%. This sounds terrible, but since children can choose their own book, they may have chosen an early reader or a picture book instead of a chapter book, skewing the results slightly. Teens 6th through 12th grades increased from 6 to 14, 133%. Last adults stayed exactly the same, 4 in 2022 and 4 in 2023. Overall participation went from 53 to 64, an increase of 39%. The library is transitioning to a new catalog system in October. Our events calendar has already migrated, so if you've been looking for activities lately, it looks a little different. It's more intuitive to use and has more features, so it's going to be a positive change. Expanded access hours to date we have 32 people signed up to be able to access the library from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week, including holidays. We have only positive feedback about this program. Fall's programs are starting up, and we have 2 this week. On Friday at 3:30, we will be making tin foil art with elementary school age children, and Saturday from 2 to 4, shrinky dinks for all ages. Hope to see you at the library soon. Thanks. Okay. And museum. Do we have a museum representative in the audience?
Now it's on. Hi.
Hi.
I haven't seen y'all in a while. Yes, so still suffering a docent shortage, so trying to stay open on Saturdays. I have occasionally people who are like, we'd like to train to be docents, and so I'm working on some people. But more pressing, this Saturday is Tenino Railroad Day, so that is a major project going on, 10 to 4. There's going to be live music, food, lots of railroad exhibits, history exhibits, other historical societies are coming, so it'd be a fun day for all. So anyone who wants to come out, there's just stuff for all ages. So that's all I got.
Do you have the same group? Are they going to be there again?
The Sea Star?
Yeah.
No, they said they were coming and then they weren't coming. So, but we're opening with the Tenino Marching Band, and then we're going to have the Olympia Highlanders coming, and Bill Lanker is going to be doing an hour. He does kind of folk.
Right.
Yeah, and then we have Prairie Fire is going to be from noon to 2, and then after that is a young lady who plays Irish fiddle.
Oh, cool.
So it should be a good day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jessica. Nobody here from the Tenino Community Service Center. No civil service. No report from the facade improvement grant review, except that they've done the work on the front of the Sandstone Cafe and the beauty shop, and it looks really good. Has anybody noticed the difference? It really does look nice. Finance Committee, we don't have a report. Planning Commission, none. Public Safety, Chief of Police. Is the chief supposed to be here?
I thought, but.
Okay.
No, he got a lot going on tonight.
He had a lot going on tonight.
Okay. Park Specialist. Here's Jessica.
Hi, long time no see. Yeah, it's been a really busy summer, so I haven't been here in a while. We had nature camp. We're started up classes this fall. The Railroad Day is kind of the last event of the season, so it's been one thing after another, but really good. We're kind of moving into grant writing season, so I just turned in the Heritage Grant. Hopefully we'll get that. That would be to restore some sandstone around town, most specifically the regrouting of the sandstone pillars outside of the quarry house is one project that we would like to do. And I'm working on a grant for some deferred maintenance in the park. So that's specifically for parks, and we're looking at the ball fields for that. And then another thing, did the proclamation make it on the agenda tonight?
The proclamation.
Or
For the Bowen Foundation, Jen.
Yes.
Yep.
that's on there? Should I say anything about it?
You could probably fill
Um,
it in. Oh, ask me.
Well, you were preparing a presentation for another community group, right?
Yes.
That would probably be a good presentation to give to the city council.
Tonight?
Not necessarily, unless you're ready.
I did not bring, I didn't bring it along. I can always talk about it though. So that's,
Well, if you're preparing something formal, we don't want to ruin the good surprise.
well, it's not that formal. It's a bullet points and whatnot, but anyway, okay.
Why don't we wait when you're ready?
Before we do the resolution, we'll have you come up
Resolution,
and you can present
Okay.
your homework.
Is that tonight? No,
Yes.
it is. Okay.
No.
Thank you. So then that's the end of my report.
Mayor, do you have a report for us?
No. Been working with Jen, getting the budget started, running around like crazy, keeping up to date on projects, wrapping up the summer.
Okay. Be that.
There's no report right now.
Solid Waste Advisory Board.
We had a representative from the Republic Service, which has taken over all the recycling and trash service. And they just kind of gave an update on what they're working on, and that anybody's welcome to come and see the changes. And the other one was from the Health Department, the new law on organic waste that went into effect for the restaurants, and they're just working with the restaurants to get them all up to speed. That was basically it.
Okay. Tenino School Board.
I don't really have much to report. It's been the first week of school and it's been pretty successful. Sports are underway and they're still working on all of their construction projects. To see any updates on any of that, you can always go to their website, but
Okay.
not much from the school board.
TRPC.
We had a retreat on the 8th.
Is your microphone on? Just checking. Thank you.
There it is, it's on. We had a retreat on the 8th and a little bit of business. During the business part, we talked about what TPB will be looking at and possibly moving forward for approval at the TRPC at our next meeting. One of the interesting things that came up is that there's an untold amount of money that's still available. We're not sure how. Thurston County is very well positioned. The reason that there's money that's still available out there is because there are jurisdictions that put in for money, was approved for money, but their projects were not ready to go. When something like that happens, that money gets put back into the pot, and we're usually, because of all of our projects, we have them planned out for 2, 3, 4 years in advance, which puts us in a really good position when somebody else doesn't have their programs ready to go, so that we can get those fundings. When it comes, how much it comes, we don't know. We just know that those opportunities are out there, and we're constantly looking for them.
And we have to apply, just like,
Yeah.
just the.
No. It's already applied. It's already gone through the entire process, except on the federal side. The Fed said on the first round, no, but if something happens that second time, and the money comes back to the feds, we get looked at again.
Okay. Okay, well, TPB, I suppose
Tomorrow
that's,
morning.
yeah, okay. Legislature, nothing, because it starts in January, so that's it for the work session.
Jen, did you give a report?
No, she didn't call on me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Or Public Works?
You're right, I did.
Okay.
Oh, well.
I didn't get a report from Public Works, but I do have a few things to report on theirs. As everyone can see, the chip sealing is underway. They're very close to complete. They will be back one more day to finish that up. There was a lot of questions about roads that were not completed. Some of the roads that people think should have been done were just too far gone. So that's the explanation if anyone should question why my street didn't get it or that street didn't get it. Some are just beyond chip seal repair. North Hodgdon, as everyone can see, is really close to complete as well. It's looking good. The SLLGP, which is the State and Local Cybersecurity Grant Program. Myself and Maria worked with Right Systems to apply for that grant to modernize our network. We have made it through phase 1. We were approved at the state level. Next asked to go through FEMA, and we should hear in the next month if we are awarded that. We were awarded the loss prevention grant for $4,200. We had applied for a little more than that, but we just got half of it for this year. So we will be adding more security cameras at the Quarry House as well as at the museum.
Thank you.
Am I forgetting anything else? Anything else you wanted me to add?
Did Troy provide a report?
No.
Okay.
Well, I guess we'll take a little break if,
No.
Oh, Rainy, you forgot
or
Rainy.
rainy.
Mr. Mayor, council members, good evening. Building department update, September 2023. Ag Park North building. Structure and TI improvements have been approved for permit issuance. As you can see, the structure is up. They've started on the roof on that end, and soon they'll be moving on to the inside. On the south building, we do have structural and TI tenant improvements that are under plan review. And right now we're just waiting on a response on some structural questions we had, and they are 90% complete on the tenant improvement section of the inside. So they are going to be breaking ground here shortly, even with approvals being subject to come real soon. So within the next week we should have everything approved, and then the south building groundbreaking will take place, and they'll start moving on the south building. Demo permit that was issued out here for the Lincoln Ave house. That will be completed here by the end of September, beginning of October. Spoke with the property owner this morning, and that's the time frame that was given for the completion of that. One thing that was asked of them was, since it's taken longer than was expected, to barricade the property to prevent any children after school from getting onto it and into the house, and for safety reasons. So we should hopefully see here this week, maybe by the end of the week, the barricade going up on that property. Tenino Middle School cafeteria and art room remodel. We were able to give them a temporary certificate of occupancy in order for them to be able to use the building during school hours. A lot of back and forth and communication with the superintendents over there, and the contractors on the job, but we were able to get the fire suppression and fire alarm system approved, which gave them full use of the cafeteria. So it was down to the wire on that one, but we were able to make that happen. The art room has had a final L&I inspection on the existing electrical. The new addition of the kiln room to the back side of the art room is under a temporary on the L&I until they receive the actual kiln that's going to go in the room. And then once that's hooked up, they'll get their final inspection on that, and then that room will be complete. We're just waiting on a few of the correction items, inspection correction items that were listed on the cafeteria project, which after talking with Jamie over there today, they're very close to getting it. It's just a couple of minor things. They're waiting on up a roll-up door that separates the cooking area from the cafeteria, and it's just a matter of delivery time for that. Other than that, they had just very minor things that won't affect anything on the final certificate on that. Excuse me. The Tenino Elementary student drop-off on Parkside was another project that we were able to get an inspection done for them to be able to utilize the entrance. Excuse me. So that way they have direct path for the right-of-way if in case of an emergency. After speaking with the contractor there again today, he gave me a confirmation date of September 25th is their goal. They'll be out there tomorrow starting the construction. They were just waiting on material to come back from powder coating to be able to put it up, and they'll be delivered tomorrow. And again, projected date is the 25th on that. The Parkside Elementary School, the extended classroom, portable classroom that was put in, that one's got a clean go. We gave that a certificate of occupancy, so it's ready for full use for the school year. Other than that, that's what I got for the building department. If anybody's got any questions.
No.
All
I
right.
just wanted to say thank you again to you and, am I on?
Yes.
I just want to say thank you again to you and Shane for working with the school like you did. And I want everybody to understand that you guys were, you really did work down to the wire to make sure that the schools were, properly prepared to have children actually using some of the exits and using the cafeteria. And it was, there was a lot of kind of mix-ups with some of the construction on their end and some miscommunications. But when it came down to it, you and Shane put in a lot of work, and there was a lot of back and forth between the city and the school to make sure that the school was open safely and properly. So I just want you guys to get the recognition for that, and I want to thank you guys publicly for that.
All right, thank you, sir. Anything else? All right. Thank you, guys.
Have I forgotten anybody else? If not, we'll take a few-minute break then, until 7:30.
11 minutes. There was a decent attendance at the town hall.
Oh, yes, there was. Maybe I'll report that.
Yeah, I thought Wayne would report it in his mayor's report.
Did you hear
Town
that?
hall
Did you
meeting
hear that, Wayne? The town hall meeting.
with Maria.
I mean, it's not necessarily city business, so to speak, but I believe it was last Monday. Tenino, what was it? Tuesday. Last Tuesday, Tenino hosted a town hall meeting for the 3rd Congressional District for Congresswoman Maria Perez Blusenkamp, and it was great attendance. I didn't get a head count, but I'd say it was probably around 75 people or so came in attendance. People not just from Tenino, but from all over. And we did about an hour of questions for our Congresswoman. There were excellent questions, and the city of Tenino did a great job hosting the Congresswoman. The police department was there in full force, and they provided security and things like that. They were actually working with the Secret Service to make sure that proper plans were in place for hosting somebody of that stature, and to have our police department coordinating with the Secret Service is pretty cool. I can't think of a time that Tenino has served in that capacity. I know we had President Clinton come through back in 1996, something, and that was was it 96, Jessica? 95? Around there, circa 1995. And that was a big deal, but you know, it was kind of a different thing. This was an actual town hall. There were a lot of cameras, there were a lot of people, and I thought it went off without a hitch. Even with some people showing up early, some of the First Amendment auditors were in town and they were doing their thing. And Tenino hosted a great event. So thank you for everybody that participated. And Dan, thank you for reminding me of that.
Okay, now we'll take a 30-minute break.
Public comment?
No, not until the meeting starts. This was a work session.
Oh.
Yeah, my story on it was the lead story in this week's paper.
Oh, it was good too. I mean, that was a really good
Well,
one.
you know, this piece Thursday.
I mean, I thought that the town hall meeting was really good. Yeah, and that's pretty good, actually. What? You think what? Oh.
I can't afford to apply for school safety grant because
Oh, are you giving a report right now?
No, I mean, I'm talking.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Their fundraising goals.
The mayor's still giving a report.
Have an operational fund so that they can spend down the budget appropriation they got from the capital. So that was cool. Thank you everybody that showed up for that.
It was really good. That was a good turnout. Yeah. Yeah. I got drenched going up to the quarry.
Oh, yeah.
I was there. I think you left early, didn't you?
But,
I was there for about 25 minutes, and I was like, no.
Joyce and I were both there.
I saw you when I pulled in.
We went up to the,
After that, I don't know where you were.
well, I don't know where you, see, I drove my own car up to the quarry. I didn't go right on the bus.
Okay.
I was behind all the buses. Joyce and I took my car up there.
Like a golf cart?
No. That's not working.
Oh, it's not?
No. No, and I'm glad I didn't take it up there. I had a towel in the back end of my car for when I put stuff in there so it doesn't scratch everything up. Bye, Rainey.
take care.
Aren't you staying for the meeting, Jeff? Okay. I took the hat, it was striped, didn't match anything I had on, put that around my shoulders after I got out, because, I mean, I was drenched right to the skin. I was still wet when I got home, and that was an hour and a half later. Oh, here it is, and I signed it. See, you had part of them under, this isn't alphabetical. You went by the first letter. This is Grit City. And this is Pauline Fueling, so on part of them, but part of, oh, okay, because to me, this should have been back under the L's. Because this one, now this one's by the last name, but this one's by the first name. See what I'm saying? Yes. Doesn't matter. I signed. Should I take it?
Yeah, you can take it.
What do I do with it? I mean, not that I care. It's just that, Here you go. Since I just signed all the checks, I'm just gonna sign this. just go ahead and,
She's been through the entire Tenino school.
does Wayne have this?
Sir, do you have the consent calendar?
If it's on the agenda,
No. Is it? Oh, I brought it, this must be an old agenda I brought up then. Oh, okay. Then I will go out of here and get back in and,
No, but you were, this is January that it took the seat. 8 and 2 days.
oh, how is your eye? That's weird.
When he says you're gonna step back and you're gonna look at that one and go, wow, I used to be like that. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something before he comes back. The guy said, aren't you staying for the meeting, Jeff? He's running for your seat. He's on the ballot. Yeah, he's on the ballot. So it looks like you're off the hook. Seems to be. Seems to be. Yeah, they lived here a year in July. He and his wife, they lived down on MacArthur. He came and spent about an hour and a half with me down at the farmer's market on Saturday. So.
I haven't got a voter.
No, you won't have. You won't until October.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. He is. If you look, you can go on and look. Yeah, there's. I do that every once in a while. What? I can't hear you. Yeah, well, you would have to be here until somebody, until they I know you would. Appreciate it. We know that. Yeah, he is. So you're, what? I cannot imagine.
Every Tuesday I have to rush from the.
That's okay. That's okay. You're young. You can do that. You don't have that much longer.
all right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the September 12th, 2023 Tenino City Council meeting. Let the record show that all council members are present and accounted for. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance. Thank you all. I'm joining you live from State Fire Training Academy, so thank you for bearing with me. We have an agenda before us.
Move
Need
approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
Okay, we moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. That brings us to the 8/8/2023 City Council meeting minutes.
Move approval.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the 8/8 meeting minutes. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Next is the consent calendar. This is a consent calendar consisting of August 23rd, 2023 through September 12th, 2023. Payroll EFTs and checks number 31713 through 31717. In the amount of $61,223.46. Claims checks 31719 through 31774 in the amount of $434,470.65. Checks number 31708 through 31712, and checks 31718 voided due to misprint with copier. For a grand total of $495,693.51, along with liquor and cannabis license renewals for Pizza Mia, Tenino Eagles, and Tenino Shortstop.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion with a second to approve the consent calendar as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. No executive sessions. Presentations. I believe we do have a presentation tonight. No, that is a proclamation. Public comments. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to provide public comment, now is your opportunity to do so. You'll be given 3 minutes. You need to state your name and your address.
If you could also sign your name on that white piece of paper, is there a pen up there? No. I apologize.
Thank you.
And please make sure that the microphone is turned on.
It is on.
I might be stealing yours.
Thank you.
So, should I talk now?
Yes, please.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, so my name is Loretta Mollenbry, and I live at 598 Houston Street South. And actually, I just had a question. I wanted to know, and I called Town Hall and I called Troy, but I didn't get an answer. There's a tree in front of my house on the right-of-way that is leaning towards the house. It's a pine tree. And it's leaning towards the house across the street, and the bigger it gets, the more it leans. So I wanted to know, can I cut that down, or is the town responsible for that? Because it's scaring me.
Well, you did the
So
right.
I was just gonna say, this is public comment. We don't do question and answers during this, but you did the right thing. You contacted Public Works. If you did you send an email? Am I not? No?
No, I didn't.
How
I
did
called
you?
them.
Okay. We have a form. It's called a Citizen Action Request Form, and if you'd like, we can provide you with one of those. We can send you a link for one. But also, it's on the record with me, and I'll make sure that I speak to Public Works about it. But if you want it documented and do it properly, then you can hold me accountable. There's a form called a Citizen Action Request Form. You fill that out, it goes to the right department, and then it's on record that you requested some type of action from us.
Yeah, and I don't care. I mean, I'll cut it down, but I don't want to get in trouble for cutting it down. But I'm afraid it's going to fall.
We can't, right now, I don't even know, we'd have to take a look at it. So I'll talk to Troy. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience who would like to provide public comment?
I'm here. Hi.
Please come forward, state your name and your address. You'll be given 3 minutes. Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Deb Reichelderfer. My address is 15225 Knowles Road, Southwest. I am not within the city limits, but I'm here today to talk to you about my community coalition. This year, I was voted as the chair of the Dakota Tenino Healthy Action Team, Be That as we're known, and we've been gearing up for the year, and we're starting to make our plans for the coming year, and I'm going to be visiting our community members and asking for participation back on our coalition. And so I'm here tonight to seek participation from the council to come to our meetings or attend virtually if you can, and learn about what we're doing and help us formulate our plans for the coming year for Dakota and Tenino. We did have some activity in the last month I wanted to tell you about. It's kind of inconsequential now, but at the end of July, beginning of August, our contract holder, which was the Thurston County Health Department, decided not to renew our contract, and we were in jeopardy of losing our funding, which is a federal pass-through dollar through the Department of the Healthcare Authority. And we were lucky enough that they were able to find a new contract, a fiscal contract holder in the Educational Service District 113. And so I'm really happy to announce that Be That will be continuing in these two communities to help with prevention funds and programs to serve the school district. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I gotta finish.
Thank you, Deb.
You're welcome.
And as a representative of Be That, you're always welcome to provide information during the report period where we always have a permanent spot for Be That on there. So when that comes up, you're always welcome to join in on that as well.
Thank you. I was thinking about that as I was watching papers come through and people reading from papers, and I heard Linda McKinney's report, and I thought, that's really not a difficult thing to do, to provide input prior. And would that
You've
be
always got
twice-
a spot there.
Would that be twice a month, or just like before the first Tuesday meeting?
It's when typically Jason will read out what is going on that he knows about with Be That. But it's on every meeting under reports.
That's
So
good.
anytime you show up, there's a spot for Be That.
Okay, well, let me then also take an opportunity to thank you for keeping us on your agenda. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. All right. Cool.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to provide public comment? Again, is there anyone else in the audience? If not, we have a second public comment period if you're shy now. But we'll move on. We have proclamation tonight from the Thurston County Auditor's Office for National Voter Registration Day. I believe we have a member from the Auditor's Office in the audience today that is here to participate in the proclamation.
Thank you. Do you need me to sign this?
No, we don't have to say that.
Good evening. Thank you for recognizing National Voter Registration Day. We do appreciate the support for the city of Tenino. Voting is a cornerstone of our democracy. Let me backtrack. For the record, my name is Tilleen Apathy-Polar. I work for elections for the Thurston County Auditor's Office. Voting is the cornerstone of our democracy, but you can't vote if you're not registered. We currently have 196 registered voters in Thurston County. Our biggest goal in voter registration is reaching our young generation. Only about 70% of those that are 18 to 24 register to vote in Thurston County. That is compared to that 90% that we see from the other age groups here in the county. The good news is voter registration has never been easier. We now have same-day voter registration where a person who's not registered can come into our office on election day up until 8 p.m. on election night to register and get a ballot. And those that are 16 and 17-year-olds can pre-register, and then on the election day in the general election can vote in that election that same year. In 2023 marks, so this year marks our 10th anniversary of National Voter Registration Day here in Thurston County. We're celebrating this by launching the Urge Your Neighbor to Vote Challenge. We're partnering with Timberland Regional Library to empower voters to urge their neighbors to start voting or start thinking about voting beginning in October. We are challenging those frequent voters, or those voters that vote every time, to lend their knowledge to encourage those that don't necessarily vote every election, bridging the gap so we can have a more knowledgeable and informed electorate. Libraries throughout Thurston County will carry ballot party kits that voters can use to host their own events to encourage their friends and neighbors to vote. Voters can log into participation through our website at thurstonvotes.org, and the jurisdiction with the most participants per registered voter wins. Libraries are essential tools to empowering informed voters, ensuring that our democracy thrives through knowledge and engaged citizens. Again, on behalf of the Auditor's Office, on behalf of Thurston County Auditor Mary Hall, we thank you for your support in National Voter Registration Day.
You are welcome. Move approval.
Second.
Thank you, Clint. We have a motion and a second to approve the proclamation, which I will now read. This is a proclamation for National Voter Registration Day. Whereas registering to vote empowers eligible citizens to exercise their right to vote on Election Day. Whereas Thurston County is committed to strengthening democracy by encouraging voter registration and increasing participation in all elections. Whereas civic-minded people and organizations have collaborated to establish September 19th, 2023 as National Voter Registration Day. Whereas the goal for the 2023 National Voter Registration Day is to create awareness of elections and motivate eligible citizens to vote in the coming months. Whereas the strength of our democracy depends on the willingness of our citizens to participate by choosing the people who will lead us and by voicing their opinion on important matters that will come before the voters on Election Day. Whereas fewer participate in local odd-year elections due to lower levels of media coverage and information about local issues and candidates. Whereas the Thurston County Urge Your Neighbors to Vote Challenge aims to encourage regular voters to reach out to their neighbors with tools and information they need to feel informed and empowered to turn in their ballots. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City of Tenino recognizes September 19th, 2023 as National Voter Registration Day in Tenino, Washington, and encourages all eligible county residents to register to vote when they receive their ballot, and to encourage their neighbors to vote. Signed in Thurston County, Washington, this 12th day of September 2023. All those members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. I do want to address Council Member Lawton. The pamphlets are going to be at in your post office October 11th.
Oh, did you hear our discussion?
Yes. However, we do have our voter pamphlet online at thurstonvotes.org right now if you're interested.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next order of business is Bucota Code Enforcement ILA. This agreement would allow the City of Tenino to do code enforcement in Bucota, much the same way we have an agreement with Rainier. Recommended action is motion to approve the Tenino Bucota Code Enforcement ILA.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Next order of business, to change the order for the Quarry House. This change order is to increase the contract price for the electrical to account for the late invoice. Jen, do you want to explain this one?
Sure. There was a small, should I go to the podium? No, I'm fine here. We had a little issue with our contractor over at the Quarry House, and he didn't send over the invoice for quite a while, and so his sub didn't get paid, so we're finally making that right, so it's a little delayed. He did the work quite a while ago.
to approve the change order. Is there a second?
Second.
Yeah, there's a second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Next order of business is the MOU with the Park Foundation. This is an organization that we regularly partner with and keep an annual contract with, and they do various works around the city. The last year we've had them working to support the Tenino stone carvers in their effort to become a nonprofit, and we're going to continue that work. It's been very fruitful, the work that they've done. If you don't know, I'm sure you all do, they assisted the stone carvers in getting $160,000 from the state legislature, and much of that money is going to go into the facilities that we lease to them, which is our public works building. So it's a great partnership. The Park Foundation has been very transformative in the city of Tenino, and we wish to extend a 4-year agreement to the Park Foundation tonight.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the park MOU. Is there any discussion?
What, is there a reason we're extending it from a 1-year to a 4-year?
It allows them some more flexibility when they're applying for funding.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
kind of like we just did the same for the Tenino Community Service Center.
Yes.
We typically did a 1-year contract with them, but it was kind of creating some shortcomings when they were applying for different grants. If they could show that they have this established relationship with us they wanted a 5-year. Initially, they wanted a 15, but that was just a little long for us. So, I mean, this is a little different, but similar.
Okay.
Good question. Any further questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Next order of business. Let's scroll down here. Get past that.
Facade.
Okay. Next order of business, we have new business, facade improvement grant for Sandstone Cafe and Classy Cuts. Linda, do you want to tell folks about Sandstone Cafe and Classy Cuts?
Well, we talked,
Facade improvement
I
grant?
said something during the work session, briefly. They've made some great improvements on the front of the building and the back of the building for that matter. They covered up the green that they had up and put shingles or shakes on the front of it and then painted the trim, and it really does look nice. It really does. So, yeah.
Move approval.
Okay.
Second.
To approve and seconded to approve the motion to accept the facade improvement grant for Sandstone Cafe and Classy Cuts. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Number 9, authorization for engineering services, Ag Park North Building Improvements Bid Phase Services.
Move approval.
Second.
So we have a motion.
We have a second also.
We have a second. So this is an agreement with Gibson Olson to move on to the design phase of the north building, in building improvement bid phase. This is to get this will do the HVAC, this will do the windows, this will do a lot of the inside things. Everything that's basically not a tenant improvement. We have the funding for this, and we are asking that the council approve and authorize the engineering services to go out to bid. We have a motion, we have a second. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Next up, Springbrook Software Upgrade Agreement. This is an agreement for the city to do some upgrades. I'm gonna let Jim talk about it. And it obligates the city to, I believe, a $10,000 expense that would be broke up into $2,000 increments over the next couple of years. So it's not anything that is way outside the budget this year. It's certainly something we could absorb, but it would be something that is a commitment to the community. So Jen, would you like to explain what we're asking?
Yeah, Maria from the police department came over and we were working on annual report as well as some budget stuff and found a couple errors that are pretty deep in our software. I think some of it had to do with the fraud that had occurred previously, and in order to, somehow you have to clean that up in there in order for it all to continue to flow. So this is 4 payments of $2,500, and they'll be mostly budgeted into next year's. We'll just have one to pay this year. This also puts us in an agreement all the way through the end of 2024 for this, so this will help with next year's annual report as well.
Move approval.
Money well spent.
Yeah.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none. Call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Next up, Resolution 2023-06. This is a resolution of the City of Tenino, Washington, authorizing and directing Mayor Fournier, the City of Tenino Mayor, to execute on behalf of the City of Tenino an agreement between Washington State Community Economic Revitalization Board and the City of Tenino for aid in financing the cost of public facilities consisting of the Southwest Washington Agricultural Business Park. So this was a couple months ago. We presented on this. A year ago, we went out bond money for about $1.5 million. We were approved for the bond, and we did not end up accepting it because we learned about the CURB program. So that bond money was sent back or never withdrawn. And as an alternate and a much better deal, we instead took out a loan for, what's the total, Jen? 1.75?
For Kurt,
Yes,
it's 1.5.
1.5.
But
1.5. Okay, and
325 is for
350,000 of
And then
that is also a grant.
Right.
So we had better terms. There was grant funds that came with it,
1.1.
and it was a very, very low interest. And so it was a much better deal for us. So we went that route. We got the CURB grant after a lot of work, or the CURB loan and grant with the best possible rates. So we are asking council to take the final step in making a motion to approve resolution 2023-06.
Move approval.
Second.
That's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Not that we've had a lot of discussion on this over the last year, so it's not that we're not talking about it, it's that we've made sure we've talked about it a lot over the last year, so thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Resolution 2023-07. This is a resolution of the City of Tenino declaring certain city vehicles to be surplus and of no further use to the city, and authorizing the sale and disposition of. Those vehicles are, Jen, do you have it in front of you? I know what they are, but you may have a better description.
Yeah, it's the old grader. It's like a 1960.
Yeah, it was something you have like the year. So we have like a 1940s road grader that hasn't been operational for a very long time. Every once in a while, we fix it up and use it for something until it's broke. But it's really something that you can no longer get parts for. So we're asking that the city surplus that, because all it does is sit there and rust next to Public Works. We've assessed the value at somewhere around what, Jen, what did we put on there?
I don't think we put a value on this because we haven't yet really found a value for it. It's,
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the value of the scrap
Yeah.
as metal.
Yep.
And then there's it's a 1971 Huber grader, not Ford's, but it is old, 1971. And then a 1989 FMC street sweeper. So we got a new street sweeper. We had one before that was not working. It wouldn't work the best, just the brushes moved, but it wouldn't actually suck up the dirt and grime. And again, it's one that we just can't find parts for, and it's of no use to us. So we are asking that the city surplus the old street sweeper as well, and we're trying to clean up around Public Works.
Move approval.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2023-07, surplusing certain vehicles that the city owns, that being the 1971 road grader and the 1980-something street sweeper. Both no longer work. We estimate their value to be the weight of the metal and scrap. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. This brings me to the most exciting item of business of the evening. This is Resolution 2023-08. To start the discussion off, I will invite our park specialist, Jessica Reeves-Rush, up to give an impromptu presentation on this exciting, really, it is really exciting opportunity. It is, I think, could be one of the biggest projects we've done to date.
Yeah.
It's hard to follow that kind of introduction. But,
It's all you now.
okay, well, I'm a big hiker. I like going on walks. I like having natural places to go and walk. And I always have to drive some distance to find different trails, a variety of trails. So I spend a lot of time at Miller, Sylvania, the Capitol Forest. We do have some very nice trails here in the Tenino City Park, but I was always kind of eyeballing that property behind the park. There's 60 acres back there. It was owned by Weyerhaeuser. They logged it to the dismay of the town at the time, and then sold it to Norseman Timber Company. So one day I'm thinking, why don't I find out who owns this and call them and see if they have any interest in selling it. I don't know how we would pay for it, but it doesn't hurt to ask. So I called and I got this lovely gentleman on the phone, and we had a long conversation, and the gist of it was that he really liked the idea of it becoming a park. So he was completely open to different ways to make that happen, and he was patient. He had been approached by other people who were interested in buying the land, so that gave me a sense of urgency about it, because most of them would develop, and I've heard that there's an easement through the park. So anyway, it's one of those things where it seemed like acquiring it and adding it to the acreage that we have, we could develop a comprehensive trail system that could accommodate walkers. Also, we could put in a heavier duty trail that could take horses or mountain bikes. But besides that, we would leave it natural. The land is planted for the timber industry, so all the trees are planted very close together, and they need to be thinned. And Norsemen recognized that. They're like, we'd have to put a lot of work into it soon to thin it so that we could get good timber out of it. Well, we're also going to have to do the same thing if we want to see it be a good, healthy forest with trails. So, speaking of the Park Foundation, I mentioned this to some gentlemen from the foundation that, I'm trying to figure out how to pay for this. There's some RCO grants that I was looking at to acquire parklands. And by the way, everybody at the City Hall was like, yeah, this is a great idea. So there was just a lot of support around that. And anyway, Park Foundation facilitated a conversation with the Angela Bowen Conservancy Foundation, who helped to acquire lands for conservation. So I took them, a couple of the board members up and had a tour, and they were like, this is totally within our mission. So they were interested in helping in some way. So recently the conversation has shifted. Norseman finally gave me a number of what how much it would cost to purchase it. They're giving us it's going to become a park price, not it's going to sell it to a developer for top dollar price. So that's exciting. And the Angela Bowen Foundation is hinting that they would like to see it come off the market, so that they might be willing to help us purchase that property, donate it to the city, and then we would just have to worry about getting RCO grants that would help put in trails and help with the timber part of it. And there are grants that do that specifically. So we would be positioned really well for a grant like that because of the process that we're going through to acquire this. It's kind of like a match. So we're hoping that puts us in good standing. The Bowen Foundation, they're going to be meeting next month. They wanted to see the city's seriousness about it. So hence the proclamation. One of the things in the proclamation is that they will want a conservation easement. So they're going to make us say, we're not going to put another sewage treatment plant up there or something. We're actually going to keep it as forest, because ultimately they are interested in conservation, and they love that it's continuous from the conservancy and from the park, and so it's creating a continuous area that will remain habitat for a long time. And this is a park that would just always be there for the citizens of Tenino, and I'm just very excited about it.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
What was the number?
Hey, Jessica,
What's that?
What was the number?
425.
7,000 an acre.
So that's about $7,000 an acre. And then in this day and age, that's unheard of pretty much. I did a lot of research about timberland, and that was at the bottom range for timberland. And this is and a lot of the timberland I've been looking at was stuff that was recently logged and not replanted. And those were the cheapest I found was in the $6,000-7,000 range. This is in way better shape than that. So I think it's definitely a generous price to put out there.
So this is an incredible opportunity for the city of Tenino. We already have an amazing park. It's about 55 acres, which is absolutely amazing for the size of the community we have. We would be bringing in, this is another, 60 to 65 acres?
Yeah, it's about 60 acres.
50 acres. So it would be doubling our park, and it would create a tremendous amount of outdoor space for our community to use for outdoor recreation. It would also, it creates a nice buffer around the community. And this, I think the last time we acquired this much parkland was around 2008 when that land was going to be logged. The community rallied and purchased from Weyerhaeuser a very it was 2-3 acre strip on the back side of the park to kind of keep it treed when this was logged. But now we're getting regrowth in there. The opportunity is absolutely fantastic, and Jessica did an excellent job with the Bowen Foundation when she took them and the Park Foundation board through. They fell in love with it immediately, and it's really just sounded like they wanted to just write a check then and there. The plan would be for the foundation to purchase this land and give it to the city of Tenino. What they want from us is, before they purchase it, they want something in writing from the city saying that we want it. Saying that we would take it off of their hands if they purchase it, and kind of stating our vision for it. And that's for it to be parkland. We wouldn't be putting, like Jessica said, another treatment plant or row houses or something like that. It's something that we would want to preserve as natural as it is. It's already been forested, and we would have to have a plan. The planning for it would be done by future city councils. It's not something we decide tonight. It's something that would be decided by the community over time, through town halls, through meetings. But we would set the framework for, kind of the left and right for what it could be. Like Jessica laid it out there great. Mountain biking trails, hiking trails, camping, who knows, horseback riding, things of that nature. There would be some potential, like maybe a utility easement through there for us if we need to say, emergency vehicles to the back side of the 60 acres. We've got to kind of consider those things, but that would all happen in the planning process. We would be looking for planning grants in the future for it, figure out, what the forestry plan would look like. All those things will be, that'll be up to future city councils, but it's on our plate to acquire this land and work with the foundation to do it. And the next step is a resolution stating that, what Tenino's intent would be. So we've provided that for the city council. So City of Tenino became aware North Timber Company is willing to sell the replanted parcel for the purpose of expanding the city park. A portion of the larger parcel is contained within the city's UGA, and it could currently be sold for development at any time, and that forest could be lost forever. Whereas the Angela Bowen Conservancy has shown potential willingness to assist the City of Tenino by taking the parcels off the market and donating them. Now therefore be it resolved, the city will accept the partnership with the Bowen Conservancy to acquire the Norseman property and maintain these lands and habitat as a public park with hiking trails, thereby conserving the lands in perpetuity. Be it therefore further resolved, the city will minimally alter these lands except for healthy forest management, hiking and non-motorized trails, a motorized access point for emergencies, and the option of small support facilities if they should ever be needed. And this would be adopted this September. Jessica, do you have any further comments? Thank you for your hard work on this City Council, before we open it up for discussion, I would ask, is there a motion to approve the resolution? And then we would give an opportunity for discussion.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and we have a second to approve resolution 2023-08, a resolution supporting the acquisition and management of parcels number 11619440000 and 11619410201 from the Norseman Timber Company to be added to the Tenino City Park. Is there any discussion?
Looking back over the years, one of the things that I seem to find a trend is parks like the one that we have here and this one that we're talking about acquiring. We need to make sure that everything is done possible so that the state leaves us alone with it, because the state ultimately owns all parks, and then it drops down to the county, and then they get to tell us what we can do, and then we finally get to decide what we're going to do with our park. We need to make sure that we have the ultimate say, especially when it comes down to maintaining the forestry there. This way we don't have to worry about fires. 60 acres doesn't sound, it sounds like a decent sized piece of property, but fire doesn't respect boundaries, and it can jump real easy. I just want to make sure that, and again, I'll be gone before that phase ever gets there, but somebody needs to bring up the fact that we need to have as much control over how we maintain that area as possible.
Thank you. discussion or
Yeah.
comments?
I just had kind of a question for Jessica. So you were talking that we would be responsible for thinning it out and removing the trees. So in that moment, we would own the lumber removed?
Correct.
Okay, because I know we're at the beginning stages of all of this, but that's just something that I would like to put for a future thing too, is what are we going to do with that lumber? Because we can maybe use that to offset some costs.
So well, the thinning would have to happen soon. And right now we're talking about 10-year-old trees. So I'm not really sure how lucrative the lumber of that size would be. But yeah, it's something to consider. I walked through a conservancy that was formerly logged, and they never did any thinning. And I walked through it with a forester who was very critical of just the fact that the trees were allowed to grow up. At some point, they start losing all of their limbs, and they've got this tiny little bit of green at the top. And those are not going to be healthy trees. The forest is going to start getting diseased and things falling down. So the sooner we could get on top of having it thinned, the better. Unfortunately, that's not going to give us super viable timber coming out of there. For it to be viable timber, we're talking about Norsemen would have left it for 40 years. So that's kind of a thing to consider.
40 years from now, there could be potential for, but typically, the cost of managing and in a perfect world, you're able to create a forest that sustains itself. And, but who knows?
Well, I think though that to put it all on the table, that would be part of the conservation easement, is that it wouldn't be used as timberland anymore. We would thin it so it's a healthy forest, and then it would become a park. So I don't know that they would. Angela Bowen Foundation would sanction that. So that is one level of control we would be giving up by the conservation easement. So
Yeah, we're not going to get down into weeds, but we have to. That's where we come up with a plan to manage it, and that's part of the community discussion. We make sure that's in line with the benefactors that purchase it, and that is. But yes, this is not. We're not purchasing. We are not purchasing the forest to clear cut it 30 years from now and make money on it.
correct.
Do we have any further discussion?
If we say yes tonight, because we've got that first and a second, and it gets to the point where the cost just becomes untenable, is this something that we can back out of?
We are not saying we'll pay anything for this. We are saying the proposal right now is that this is purchased and given to us, not that this costs the city anything.
Okay. Time will tell.
Right here.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, and thank you, Jessica. We have no ordinances, and all reports have been given. That brings us down to public comment period number 2. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to provide public comment?
Hello again, Deb Reichelderfer. I'm here now to talk to you about the Citizens for Tenino Schools, which is also a community group that I work on. We had a resolution or a proclamation earlier tonight about the September 19th voting thing. Did I see you guys signing that as you get. I was wondering, can I get a picture of that? I would really love to post that on our Facebook page because we're gearing up for levies next year. And
I can email it to you.
could you? A nice, pretty scan?
A little nicer.
Okay, I'll give you my email
And wait,
address.
And then,
Yeah.
and have the mayor sign it first and then.
Yeah, oh, that'd be great, yeah. So the Citizens for Tenino Schools would love to have that, and we'll help promote that through the schools and through the public community. Yeah, thank you. Thank you all. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, Deb. If there's anyone else in the audience that would like to provide public comment, now is your last opportunity. Going once, going twice, moving along. Does anyone have any announcements?
I have an announcement. My great-granddaughter was just elected president of ASB of Chinook Middle School. And she called me and says, "Grandma, I'm just like you."
Aw. That's sweet. Any other announcements?
Railroad Days. Don't forget about Railroad Days this
No,
weekend.
On Saturday, yes. All right, thank you, everyone. Meeting adjourned.
You can't even hear it when I do that. Yeah.